Have you ever felt the chill of solitude amidst the cacophony of countless notifications? Ever wondered how we came to be so connected, yet, paradoxically, so detached? These introspections aren't mere musings, but pivotal reflections of our times. In the early days, when the internet was in its infancy, it promised boundless opportunities for human connections. Think about it. A time when pioneers like Tim Berners-Lee envisioned a global web where information and connections flowed freely. And Mark Zuckerberg, just a college student then, believed in creating a more connected world. Yet, as the first few lines on your Facebook timeline or the chirping tweets of the day indicate, that connected world feels a little lonelier than many of us imagined. Imagine a setting. The room is dim, save for the cool, blue-tinged light emanating from the screen of a smartphone. The air is still, thick with an almost tangible solitude. The only sound is the rhythmic tapping of fingers on glass, sending messages into the vast digital abyss. In this room, there are millions, each one alone, but paradoxically, together in their isolation. The poignant smell of a long-forgotten cup of tea sits on a table, painting a picture of neglect in the face of digital preoccupation. These are the rooms and homes of our present, the current epoch where screens have silently replaced voices and emoticons have stealthily crept in, replacing the warmth of a genuine smile. Historically, our ancestors lived in close-knit tribes, forming deep-rooted bonds over shared hunts, communal dances, and stories whispered around crackling fires. There was an intimacy, a tangible connection, a touch, a shared gaze, or the rhythmic sound of heartbeats. Fast forward to the present, and these heartbeats have transformed into the digital pings of our devices. While this advancement is undoubtedly revolutionary, one can't help but draw comparisons and sense a void. A growing chasm between genuine human connection and digital interaction. Journey with me, if you will, to the bustling streets of any modern city. Skyscrapers reach ambitiously towards the heavens, their glass facades reflecting the ant-like scurry of humans below. The sunlight casts long shadows, often catching the silhouettes of individuals engrossed in their phones, oblivious to the world around. But if you look closely, in the midst of these crowds, in the hustle and bustle of urban life, you can spot individuals standing still, lost. Their eyes, although fixed on their devices, have a distant, yearning look, as if seeking something beyond the confines of their screens. It's fascinating, isn't it? How something as phenomenal as social media, which has given voice to the voiceless and bridged distances that were once deemed insurmountable, has also inadvertently cast a shadow of solitude. In a time of followers, likes, and shares, loneliness seems like an anachronistic concept. But like a ghostly figure lurking just out of sight, it's there, waiting to be acknowledged. Artists like Charlie Chaplin in his prescient film Modern Times hinted at the challenges of rapid technological advancement and its impact on human connections. Similarly, writers and philosophers of yore, from George Orwell to Aldous Huxley, have offered glimpses into futures where technology's dominion over humans creates a surreal, often isolating landscape. Little did they know that their predictions would be realized, not in grand dystopian futures, but in subtle, everyday moments of contemporary life. It's a bitter pill to swallow, realizing that in our endeavor to be more connected, we may have overlooked what truly makes us human. The fundamental need to be seen, heard, and understood, to share silences and conversations, to be present in moments without the distraction of a digital chimera. And as the soft glow of screens illuminates faces worldwide, it's essential to ask, are we losing touch with what truly connects us? Are we fostering bonds or building walls with each swipe, click, and post? We stand now at an intersection, the crossroads of unparalleled connectivity and mounting isolation. As we move forward, we must ask ourselves, how did we arrive here? And more importantly, where do we go from here? Do you remember the last time you sat across from someone, your attentions undivided, the conversation undisturbed by the interruptions of digital chimes? Or perhaps, you recall the sensation of sharing a silence, a moment of profound understanding, without feeling the urge to fill it with a scroll or a swipe. As we navigate this digital era, these experiences are becoming rarer, and therein lies the heart of our dilemma. The first time I felt the sting of digital loneliness was on a winter evening. My fingers deftly typed out a heartfelt message to a close friend, sharing the trials of the day. The screen flashed, scene 9:03 p.m. Hours turned into days, yet no reply came. That small blue tick, meant to indicate connection, only amplified the distance. Was it not paradoxical? Here I was, connected to thousands virtually, yet feeling profoundly alone. I pondered, was my experience unique? Or was it a sign of a deeper, more pervasive problem? As it turns out, my solitary ordeal was not an isolated incident. A 2019 study from Cigna, an American health service company, indicated that nearly 61% of adults felt lonely, showing a 7% rise from a similar study conducted 2 years prior. The most startling revelation? Younger generations, the so-called digital natives, were the loneliest of all. While we can't place the blame solely on social media, it's hard to ignore its role in this epidemic. The personal narratives of countless individuals echo this sentiment. Rachel, a 25-year-old graphic designer, recently shared her story and described her Instagram experience as walking through a hall of mirrors. Each post she encountered seemed to reflect a reality far from her own: friends on exotic vacations, couples celebrating anniversaries, peers achieving milestone after milestone. While Rachel was aware that these were mere highlights, not the entirety of their lives, she couldn't help but feel left out, isolated. And she's not alone in this. This phenomenon, often dubbed comparison fatigue, exacerbates feelings of loneliness and inadequacy. But let's dive deeper. Beyond the surface, a more insidious challenge emerges. Social media platforms, designed to keep us engaged, often trap us in echo chambers. These are virtual spaces where our views are amplified and reflected back to us, creating an illusion of consensus. By interacting primarily with like-minded individuals, our worldview narrows, and we become more resistant to diverse opinions. The irony? In a space meant for global connection, we find ourselves in silos, further intensifying feelings of isolation. Have you ever noticed the fleeting nature of online interactions? A like here, a heart there, maybe a share if something truly resonates. But how often do these translate into deep, meaningful conversations? The convenience of digital interaction, while revolutionary, has also made our connections more superficial. We've traded depth for breadth, favoring the quantity of connections over their quality. The sensory richness of face-to-face interactions, the touch of a hand, the warmth of a smile, the cadence of a voice, has been replaced by sterilized, homogenized digital signals. Drawing another personal parallel, I once attended a high school reunion. Faces I had only seen on Facebook in the intervening years were now before me. And yet, despite our frequent online interactions, our conversations felt stilted, awkward. We had kept up with each other's lives, or so I thought. But in that room, I realized that we knew about each other without truly knowing each other. The nuanced experiences, the challenges, the growth, all were glossed over by curated posts and images. Even more concerning is the impact of this loneliness on mental health. A study published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology in 2019 made a connection between reduced social media use and decreased feelings of depression and loneliness. Such findings are alarming, as they indicate that platforms designed for connection might be pushing us towards disconnection. In a society where our worth is often gauged by our online persona and our validation metered in likes, it's essential to confront these challenges head-on. As we stand amidst this digital forest with its towering trees of profiles, statuses, and stories, we must ask, are these trees aiding our growth or obscuring our view of the sky? Have you ever imagined a world where technology and genuine human connection coexist in harmony? Where every ping and notification becomes not a source of distraction, but a pathway to deeper understanding. As I stare at the softly glowing screen before me, I can't help but believe that this isn't just a dream, it's a possibility within our grasp. In the moonlit silence of a night not long ago, I found myself on a solitary beach, the rhythmic ebb and flow of waves providing a calming counterpoint to the swirling thoughts in my head. As I gazed at the vast expanse of the ocean, a metaphor struck me. Just as the moon's gentle pull influences the tides, could we not guide the currents of social media to create a more nurturing and inclusive digital space? One solution lies in intentional engagement. While the allure of endless scrolling is undeniable, we must learn to interact with purpose. This means not merely consuming content, but pausing to reflect, comment, and genuinely engage. When we move from passive observation to active participation, we begin to forge deeper connections, transforming the vast digital ocean into a series of interconnected lakes, each teeming with life and unique stories. Visualize for a moment the rich tapestry of a local marketplace, a place where people don't just transact, but also converse, share, and bond. This is the essence of community. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter can serve as these marketplaces. But to foster genuine connection, we must seek smaller, more focused communities within. Niche groups, where passions and interests align, can serve as sanctuaries from the overwhelming cacophony of the wider digital world. And just as we need fresh air and sunlight amidst the urban hustle, we must incorporate digital detoxes into our routines. These moments of disconnect allow us to reconnect with our surroundings and ourselves. The gentle chirping of birds, the tantalizing aroma of a home-cooked meal, the delicate texture of a loved one's hand. These sensory experiences ground us, reminding us of the tangible world beyond our screens. By regularly stepping back, we can approach the digital realm with renewed perspective and vigor. Remember Rachel, lost in her digital hall of mirrors? Her redemption came when she began to use social media as a tool for self-expression rather than validation. She embarked on a project, capturing the unfiltered moments of her life and sharing them with raw, heartfelt narratives. This authentic representation resonated with many, forging bonds stronger than any posed snapshot could. The lesson? By embracing our vulnerabilities and showcasing our authentic selves, we not only combat loneliness but also empower others to do the same. Moreover, platforms themselves can play a pivotal role. Algorithms, instead of merely promoting popular content, could prioritize meaningful interactions, elevating posts that foster genuine conversation and connection. By reorienting the focus from virality to value, we can recalibrate the digital compass to point towards more fulfilling destinations. And what of the echo chambers we find ourselves trapped within? The key to escape is education and exposure. Actively seeking diverse opinions, challenging our beliefs, and engaging in constructive debates can shatter these digital walls. Platforms can aid this by suggesting content outside our regular viewing patterns, nudging us towards broader horizons. Yet, the most potent solution is perhaps the simplest: embracing the human touch. In the era of emails and DMs, let's not forget the magic of handwritten letters, the joy of unexpected phone calls, or the sheer warmth of face-to-face conversations. Let's make an effort, not just to comment on a friend's post, but to meet them for coffee, not just to like a photo, but to create memories together. As we stand on the cusp of a new dawn, the path forward beckons, illuminated by the combined glow of screens and stars. The onus is on us to tread mindfully, hand in hand, forging connections that transcend pixels and resonate in heartbeats. In the realm of social media, where the digital river's currents are both powerful and unpredictable, our boat is one of intention, our oars are of genuine engagement, and our compass is authenticity. With these tools, the journey ahead, though challenging, is promising. So as the digital waves beckon, let's promise to sail together, to cherish every connection, and to remember that in this vast digital sea, no one should ever feel adrift and alone.